Ma palun siia kõnepulti Anne Kleinbergi Tallinna Lastehaiglast lastepsühhiaater Anne.
To come up, she is a child psychologist, a child psychiatrist rather, and the head of the psychiatry clinic at the Tallinna Children's Hospital. And besides being a practicing doctor, she just recently finished something very important, a doctoral thesis. That's what I have noted down here. Anna is nodding. But the topic was the depression in Estonia, the spread and the use of health services. So I imagine you will be mentioning that as well a little bit. Not directly, but indirectly, definitely. In any case, the floor is yours. I will try and not talk at the podium today, but the podium is a safe place. But I think this headset should work as well. Are the technicians getting my words to you? Am I plugged in? We can let the speaker know that everything is okay. Yes, everything is great. So we have the first positive signs from the interpretation booth in the back. So it's a hectic June afternoon in Tallinn. I am coming straight from the hospital, and I have completely forgotten the fact that I just defended my doctoral thesis, so it was nice to be reminded of it. But at the moment, our regional children's mental health service centers have been such a high priority that we have been working with that very much. And we also work with parents. For example, I see a woman, the mother who comes very frequently, and the husband too, if they get here from their work abroad. So the desk of the child psychologist, psychiatrist actually has files for the whole family. So the mental health services centers, the concept is very good. It's perhaps hard to realize right now what we have accomplished with the 4 centers so far, but we have done quite a lot. We started in 2013 with quite a sprint. 2014 and 15 we have done a lot of work. So this is what the beginning was like. There were teams, very nice child psychiatry teams who were far from each other. They did know where they were heading, but they were working on their own. So we had a few people, great teams, and a lot of people who needed help. So there were so many people, as you see, there are, as the desert is wide. So we needed a plan to get out of that situation, to pull together. So in that sense, it was wonderful for Norway to come to Estonia's help, and they helped initiate this very multi-layered process, and a part of that process is the centers. From time to time, I apologize to my colleagues that we started something that has snowballed into something so big, and that we have so much work. 7 years ago, we started with our own idea about a mental health center, but then after Norway got involved, it has really snowballed. So at the moment, we don't know how many of our children have mental health problems. We did not know, but now we do know. Most of them do live in the northern part of Estonia, because this is where most of the population is. I'm not sure if our situation is very much different from the rest of Europe. We have about 10 to 12% of children who are plagued by some sort of problems or disorders. So according to the Health Insurance Fund statistics, this is our only database that's reliable enough to show the figures. You see that things were doing quite well. Then you also see the recession years that had quite an impact on psychiatric case numbers. But even though the recession is over now, these numbers are showing increasing trends. And I do have quite a lot of work. I see a lot of patients. I tried to get a lot in today before I could make it here. And this is a slide that I made for an occasion where I had to explain where the critical areas are. So the Child Protection Association has let us know how many specialists we need as of 2004. But here you basically see that most of those who need help are in our county and the one that Tallinn belongs to. And according to the number of those who are in need, we need 14 child psychiatrists, but we barely have 11. So we need a little bit more. And here you can see where our children are in Tartu and in the eastern part of Estonia and eastern Virumaa. We have no child psychiatrists in the east. And our colleagues in Tartu have started to fill that hole while having a hole in the south in Tartu themselves as well. So right now we are in a situation where we have very few people, and we have to really think about how to place that human resource so that as many people as possible could get help. But we also have to guarantee that our personnel survives the hard work as well. Now, this is the official framework. This has been talked about a lot, basically information about the program. And it's a big program. One part is creating the Tallinn Children's Mental Health Center as well as the other regional ones. And here we have regional children's mental health centers. There are 4 of them, and here you see everybody who is involved. There's one in the north, one in the south of Estonia, in eastern Virumaa, and in Pärnu in the south as well. And we are really making an effort to make sure that all regions are covered so that there will be centers of competence where others could start popping up, other smaller ones. The big places such as Tallinn and Tartu, it's really not difficult for them, but in the east and in the southwest, in the situation that they are in right now, they really are doing a great job. So just so that people would understand, when people ask me, how is mental health service, mental health center different from an actual clinic, we think that training and development work is very important. Why? Because we need to cover that gap in the knowledge of specialists who are also closely related to the work. We want to cover as many areas as possible, as many fields as possible, so that people who work with children could recognize problems and help them before things get too severe. So this is where these centers can help, and also network activities. Dina talked about an integrated child service before, but at the center of it is a nucleus that helps the network work. We want to be more systematic between different levels, between different regions, and certainly between different specialists that are around a child. Now, here we have the activities put under the umbrella of different categories, basically. We are different in our centers, but in main part we do the same work. We basically want to provide as many outpatient services as possible in all of our centers. And we only have outpatient services in the east and in the southwest where we don't have human resources, and we perhaps may not even need stationary services or inpatient services in those areas, because you also have to look at where the population is located. And we also want to have different age groups and various specific disorders covered. Now, the work that our team members do a lot is counseling. We have counseling groups and also hotlines. Right now, the hotlines are manned by nurses at the Tallinn Children's Hospital, and that phone line is really hot. It shows that there are so many people in need. They first want to know whether they have a problem. Second, they want to know where to turn if they do have a problem. And so we see that there is a lot of hunger for help. And not to be too dependent on the phone. In addition to that, we also try to help general practitioners so that they could direct their patients to the hospital if needed. But for that, we have email. So something that is a very important development is eating disorder treatment in Tallinn and Tartu. Now, psychotherapy, I have started talking about that less. In Tallinn, we have been fortunate because the city, the municipality has helped us, and we have been able to bring quite a lot of good activities into life. Now, Pärnu, right now, they are creating new psychotherapy services for children. Now, one task that we took upon ourselves was very pleasant. Now, these are springtime pictures of the construction of our children's mental health service. Now, the work has advanced in the meantime, and right now cleanup work is being done. So, Dr. Martinson, we can already say that on the 27th of August we will have the opening, we will have a celebration, and then the first event or training course will be already on the 2nd of October. Now, a great process that has been going on with these centers is mental health cabinets, where we have specialists who have done very good work in the south of Estonia and in the east of Estonia. And there are some people who do that work here today, and we all know how difficult it is to do good work in a situation where there are very few specialists and where you have very small teams and a lot of people, and one person has to cover very many different tasks. But things are on a good track. In Tallinn, we needed to reach those children who had been isolated, who were in a complicated situation, who had dropped out years ago, who had been just hanging out at home, basically at a computer, who were overweight and had severe psychological problems, whose families had lost hope, and whose network basically said that the teachers and the doctors said that they needed help already before the project helped by Norway began. So that's a very interesting part of the work, and we are getting more and more into the content, and we have been appealing to the health insurance fund to have follow-up treatment for them, for the processes that this program will start. We have been working with colleagues from Oslo. We have been work shadows for them to see how to solve this problem. Now, they have services that have been working for years, and Estonia should catch up with them soon. Now, another side activity that's very difficult but very motivating at the same time is training activities, teaching other specialists and actually learning alongside with them. We have a lot of training courses for general practitioners, also for school health workers and social workers, teachers. Of course, lectures don't make people help children. We also have to have supervision possibilities, in other words, work discussions. If I have a difficult child, for example, if I'm a social worker, perhaps I don't know what to do with them, so then what? Helping that social worker. Before the project and right now, I have a lot of questions that are constantly aimed at me. I get a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, and we are trying to direct those questions in a more productive way. So the specialists that we have in working with children should know a lot more. Of course, we are very happy to help, but they should know as well. So the experience here in Tallinn is that we are getting more and more specialists, actually. So in the coming years, my personnel will actually double. I had the great fortune of meeting new colleagues today who will start in August. Now, network work. As I mentioned, it's very important to get different specialists to do the job together. If the job is complicated and there are very many challenges, then it's very important to have that elbow feeling that you know who you're basically fighting beside. So we have had a lot of meetings, we have a lot of negotiations when, for example, nurses have come together quite a lot. So we have brought them together so that they could think about things in the same direction, basically. Now, something that was very interesting in this process was the QNEC, the Quality Network for Inpatient Children. These quality assessment tools have been worked out in the UK, and they are also trying to apply them in Norway. We have right now gone through external evaluation. It was a very nice process where a team from England came to talk to us. And before that, we did a lot of work based on this manual that we had. But then we had this sort of competition amongst ourselves. And we also had the patients and their parents coming along. So there was a whole event around it. And we had a lot of time to reflect on quality, and it was a very important process for us. The centers are different. They may not have all the same things. In Tallinn, for example, diagnostics has been the main function. Tartu has been helping out. And this is a model that I put together so that I would have an image of what the different levels could be like. This, of course, has to be sorted more, but we have now passed the ball into the court of the Ministry of Social Affairs. We are at the top, basically. We are helping out with our knowledge and know-how. And we really have to think about how we get to the second tier, the specialists, how we get them. Here I have outlined our expectations to the state. These have already been forwarded and they have been negotiated, and that was also a very pleasant process. So we discussed, for example, what the health services need, real contracts, real agreements. We have had negotiations, and so that has been done. And in summary, I would like to say that we really enjoy this process. It's very intense, but it's very interesting. We are constantly learning new things. And the most enjoyable part is, of course, the people that we work with, and also the patients who are giving us good feedback. People are surprised when they get help very fast. And social workers, for example, they are very thankful if they get an answer already the same day if they turn to us, which we try to do. So this joy that comes from working together, that's something that really motivates us more than money or other status symbols. So just this joy from working together. Thank you for listening.
Ja võtame kiirelt ka ühe küsimuse, kellel kripeldab küsimus.
So a quick question, if anyone has questions, you can ask them now. Okay, then I will ask a question. What's the greatest expectations for opening your house? What do you think will change? We will be creating an opportunity for children and their families to come together to one place where they can come for help, and also our partners can come to the same place to get support and energy, and we have a place where we can cooperate and offer services to children and their parents. It's very important to create such a place when we're talking about mental health issues. Thank you. Let's hope this safe house will start its work. Thank you.